What's up, lads? Rosie here again. Today we are going to tackle the key rework and the key change. Uh, Scott Jund once again babbled about this when they changed the Mories, and it's like it's gonna take more than just a number flip to fucking change keys, guys. The key rework's gonna be bigger. And almost said the same thing. Almost was like, the key change is going to be very, very in depth. We're not just gonna it's going to be much harder. We're not gonna just have to flip a number to change keys, guys. You killer mates need to calm down. Let me explain to you how easy this actually is. Okay, it is not only very possible to fix keys through a number flip, but there's multiple ways to do it. Okay, let's be honest here. What these devs are gonna do is they're going to add an animation to keys. Like, it takes like 20 seconds to open the hatch, just like it takes 20 seconds to open the exit gate. Okay, what these devs are going to do is not going to fix keys. The keys will still open the hatch, and the keys are still going to be a problem, and the keys are still going to be very, very must dodge for high rank killers. Okay, they're still going to be a very as long as they open that hatch, they're broken. So like, as long as they open the hatch, they're fucking broken. Okay, very, very easy ways to fix these keys. Okay, now when you're going into this is something that we have to eradicate from the game right now. Okay, so these things need the hardest fucking nerf possible. If you want to come back and buff them later, and like maybe, okay, first of all, the easiest way to fix the keys is just get rid of the effect altogether. Just get rid of it. Just get rid of that hatch effect. Like, for real. You think I'm lying? Like, just say they can't open the hatch anymore and then they're fixed. That's the easiest way to do it. But like they don't. Keys aren't even worthy of an extensive rework that Scott Jund and Olmo, they agree. By the way, the devs hate Scott Jund, but they agree on this. This is extremely easy to fix to me. So yeah, that's the first solution. Just take that hatch clause out. Just get rid of that from the game. That's the first way to do it. Then you can keep the rest of the key. You can keep the key, but don't tell me that you can't fix these things through a number flip. Okay, but we'll go ahead and we'll get into that later. So how do we do this? Okay, very rarely are 4 people getting out with a key, because that means that the survivors won already. But if you like have somebody dead and you finally are getting some momentum on the board and there's 1 gen left, 3 plus 1 is 4. The hatch is open. The hatch is there. So you can, like, if you're facing like a fucking Swift or something and you finally start slowing them down and finally start getting momentum, and one of them brought a key, or by all means found a random one in a chest, all they gotta do is find the hatch, and they're Swift, so they can stall the game. If a Swift's goal was to never be found, they would never be found. Swift can literally do anything at once, provided the players are good. Optimal 4-man Swift can literally do whatever they want. Okay, so all they gotta do is wander around the map, find the hatch, they all get to it, easy. Because the key's problem is that it keeps the hatch open too long. There's no startup. They just open the hatch, and the hatch is open for like, what, 30 seconds? Like, I don't feel like I have to read these to explain why they're bad for the game. And so the hatch stays open, and then boom, done. Like this is just cancer, bro. That is not what they should, the number that they should be having. So, how do you fix this with a number flip? Well, the very first solution is this. If you bring a key, it adds a distinction between how many gens have to be done before the hatch. That way, this is just the first way to fix it. That way, if 1 survivor's dead, 3 survivors, it would be 3 plus 2 to get the hatch. So you'd still have to get all 5 gens done to get the hatch, even with 3 people, if you have a key. This will nerf the key because it gives Swift less time. Like, you could do that for both of them. Like, that could just be a rule for both of them, because that way they would take 2 survivors being dead to use the key when there's 1 gen left, meaning the Swift has way less time to actually pull it off, and even when they do, they're only getting 2 people out. So that's the first thing you could do. So like, the killer's pip is probably fine. Even though, like, yeah, it's not fair that they're both getting out. The goal is we're trying to help the killer's pip here. When they get keyed, killers tend to D-rank if they're getting keyed. For real. It happens. That's another thing you adjust. The killer's, if there's a key involved, They should have done this with Maurice too. That would have really helped. If there's a key involved, the killer's pip is not affected. Like if it gets keyed escape, the game should read that and not depip the killer or depip the survivor if there was a Mori involved. But you know what? The Moris are so bad now. Survivors deserve to get deranked if they're getting hit by them. Anyway, but so yeah, that's the first thing. That's one thing you could do. Just make it 2+1. Oh yeah, or like you could just like have it instead of how many gens are done, the survivors being dead clause. Let's flip it to that. Purple key only works if 3 survivors are dead. That way you can only use it in that final 2 minutes of the endgame collapse. That would fix it. And then for the pink one, you could do 2 survivors have to be dead before its activation. So there's that. There's that possibility that you could do with it. And then another issue that we have with keys is that if the killer notices that the hatch is open, and they go and close it, and only 1 survivor gets out, that immediately starts the endgame collapse. So closing the hatch when there's more than 1 survivor left should not trigger the endgame collapse anymore. That leads to more escapes as well. Like there's so many issues that keys, like, by getting rid of that, you could also help deal with it. Like I don't define these to be extensive reworks that require new animations. These are simply number flips. Okay? It would not solve the problem, because as long as keys could open the hatch, and again, just delete that clause, that's another way you can fix. Those are the 3 most effective ways to fix keys right now. Either just shutting down that effect entirely, and not letting it trigger anymore, making it based on how many survivors are dead, or add 1 gen to how many people have to, add 1 gen to how many survivors are left before hatches spawn. That way the hatch wouldn't even spawn at all if you had 4 left, for real. But like, they probably wouldn't do that though. But yeah, just those are 3 simple changes you could do to keys without having to give them an extensive rework. So this notion that's being propagated in this community that you have to give keys an extensive reworks to balance them is absolute nonsense. And these fog whisperers should be ashamed for their part in bringing that narrative forward, because they continue to prove that they're a problem with the game. These bigger people that don't care about the game's flaws and don't actually give a fuck, these people don't give a fuck about you, bro. If these people cared about you, they'd be proclaiming that these need fixed, like True Talent does. Constantly. Not just every once in a while on their add-on tier list videos, on their item tier list videos. They'd be doing it consistently every time. Like, for real. Not to say you have to say it every single video, because I know I'm gonna get that. But consistently knocking on these devs. These devs showed their weakness when they with this colorblind thing. You guys don't understand why this colorblind thing is significant. The devs showed their weakness. Prominent figures on social media calling the devs out will get them to do something. And if your number one response should be immediately pointing fingers at the prominent figures in this community and making them do it. But you're not. You're all just stand up for them. And I don't know why. Is Scott Jun giving you a cookie? Is Otofu giving you a cookie? Like, what are you getting by standing up for these people? Nothing. I don't understand it. Never mind. That's just how you deal with keys, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, GG's. I'm getting the hell out of here.